Alright, here we are again, coming to you live from the office. It's going to be our week 1 kickoff show. What we're going to do is break down some of the matchups and give you our predictions against the CBS spread. So we'll get right into it. I'm Cash, this is my co-host and partner Daley. And our first game is going to be Feeling Lucky against the Cash Money Millionaires. What do you got?
Well, Feeling Lucky's a 4-point favorite in the game, but I honestly like the Cash Money Millionaires matchups. Well, some of their matchups better. Bradford's got a great matchup against the Falcons. They're terrible against the pass last year. The QB-friendly system.
I got Bradford as the top money play in this game for either team. I think he's going to be the top man, and the hookup with Nelson Aguilar, that's going to be pretty big, I think.
They also running the Seahawks defense out there with Nick Foles and Benny Cunningham starting for the Rams. That's
right,
and
that was a big pick. I know Gray and myself, we were counting on the Seahawks this year to, really make some noise for us. And later on in the year, I don't want to meet up with this Feeling Lucky team. I think this team's going to get better as the weeks go on. But this week, I'm going to take the 4 points, and I'm going to pick myself and Gray to win.
I'm actually going to pick Feeling Lucky, though, because they do have Gronk, Jimmy Graham, and Dez, and I think they're all pretty premium matchups. And the Bills' defense, they're going to score some points. I mean, they're not going to shut the Colts out or anything, but they're going to get a few sacks because the Colts cannot block anybody. And Mike Wallace has real potential to get a big play.
Yeah, he's definitely a home run hitter.
So I'll take Feeling Lucky.
Hopefully their running backs hold them back. All right, in our second game, I know both of us have kind of dubbed this the game of the week. We got Team Drunk +2 against the Dingbats. It's going to be a division game. Of course, all the games this week are division games. For this one, I picked Team Drunk. I went back and changed my pick to the Dingbats. I really like Big Ben, and they got the 3 running backs. The only question mark for this team, in my opinion, is their wide receivers. And they're both superstar athletes, and I know Brant's high on both the guys as he favors younger players. I think it's a little early for him in the year, but I don't like Andrew Luck's matchup this week. I really don't like McCoy banged up. Doug Martin is my favorite player this week for Team Drunk. So I'm going to take the Dingbats plus the points. What do you got?
I thought the Dingbats were favored, but I'll take them either way, whether they're favored or not. Big Ben's in a fantastic matchup against the Patriots. They don't have Revis or Bolden anymore. Le'Veon Bell's out there going to throw a ton. Jeremy Hill's my favorite running back this week. The Raiders were dead last against the run last year. The Bengals kill shitty teams. They're going to win by a lot. Jeremy Hill's going to have a huge game. I really like Matt Bryant, the kicker, too. Anybody in the Eagles-Falcons game. And the Broncos should get a few sacks. I'm a lot higher on Shady than you are when we go to the other team. Macklin's the #1 target over there, knows Andy Reid's system well. But other than that, I really don't like anything. I like Doug Martin a little bit too. But I really think the Dingbats are going to win this game.
All right, so we both are in agreement there. Our next game is Super Crew and Rumham. This game carries a little bit of a rivalry with some trash talking and fantasy baseball, and these guys never met each other or anything like that, but they're both really good fantasy players. Super Crew's +3 this week. He's got a guy I've been talking about all offseason in Chris Ivory, and I think he's
been talking about him the last 3 weeks for sure.
I think he's got the matchup about, the matchup he wants. Forsett's always going to be a question mark with me, but he proved me wrong last year all year and probably proved the whole world wrong. Stafford I got with 19 points. This week on this game I'm going to pick the Super Crew. I really do like Brady. I think he's going to be pissed off at the league, but I'm not very high on Forte and Ellington. And, Alfred Morris, he's going to get the touchdowns. I think Kirk's going to move him up and down the field. And he's a good play this week in my opinion, but I think Super Crew with the points is just going to be too much. I do think it's going to be a close game, but I'm going to pick Super Crew.
First of all, Rumham, love Brady. Great matchup. They don't have anybody to run it either. So I don't really know anything about Andre Ellington. I mean, I know who he is, obviously, but I just have no idea what he's going to be up to. Alfred Morris, I don't know if the new power running game really suits his style. He's more of a one-cut type guy. Forte, I don't know. I mean, he's obviously their best player. I just don't know if the system's favorable to him, so we'll have to figure that out. Trey Johnson's old. Demarius is a fantastic matchup. And on the other side, Forsett's the type of guy that's either going to win you the league or he's going to lose you the league this year.
We agree there.
He won me a league last year, but I mean, him picking him so high this year, the potential for him to lose you a league is just so high. And I really like his receivers with Green and Golden Tate and John Brown. They're all in good matchups. And the Chiefs' defense in a fantastic matchup against Brian Hoyer and Alfred Blue.
No, Arian Foster. That'll be big for him.
I mean, I'm probably going to have to pick the Super Crew to not only cover, but to win, honestly.
So we're both taking the Super Crew. All right, moving on to our next game. We have Show Me Your TDs +2 against 4th and Inches. I know you don't, but I do. I like Murray.
Well, I mean,
I like Manning and Coleman.
I don't like Murray for the season.
I like everyone in
Murray
that
this
game. And he's got a lot of players in that game. 4 to be exact, I believe here. I think in daily fantasy, everybody's pretty much stacking this game and playing it big. On the other side, you got Cam Newton and a great 4 receiving core. I mean, no team in the league has 4 receivers like 4th and Inches. Their running backs, I don't know what we're going to get from Vereen. He could, come out and catch a bunch of balls and maybe get a touchdown. I think Gordon, they're going to try to get him a touchdown week 1, so I like him to score. I really can't figure out how 4th and Inches is a favorite here. But I'm gonna take 4th and Inches actually to cover the spread, 2 points. Even though I really like the Philadelphia-Atlanta game, I think it's gonna be 21-14 ball game and not as high scoring as everybody's predicting. So I'll go with 4th and Inches.
I was honestly looking at this earlier and I didn't know how we were favored either. I honestly don't know because Peyton's in a pretty good matchup against the Ravens. But we have Emmanuel Sanders to block, kind of. We got Calvin. I mean, I don't really know what the Chargers are going to have against Calvin. But I really think the difference is going to be the Dolphins' defense. I think the Dolphins, or either the Seahawks, are going to be the highest scoring defense this week. The Redskins had the worst fantasy offense last year. Kirk Cousins throws an interception 4.5% of the time, which is the worst mark of anyone who's ever had 500 snaps in the last 5 years. They have atrocious special teams too, so it's potential for the Dolphins to have a really big day. Julio's going to have a huge game. Like anybody in that game is going to have a huge game. Except I don't know about Tevin Coleman. See, that's the thing. If Tevin Coleman has a big game, I don't think we can win. And
I think he's a big question mark right now. I really think the Eagles' linebacking core is much improved. And I think it'll be tough against the run, but the pass is going to be
the position players are pretty much a wash in this game. I really think whoever's defense, one of the defenses is going to win the game, and one of them's probably going to have a special teams touchdown. And I don't know which one it's going to be, but I'm going to take my team, I guess.
So you're going to take your team to cover the 2?
Oh, of course.
All right, moving on. Got Trailer Park Boys against the Drew Crew, and Drew Crew is going to be 2-point favorite. They have 2 players I give the frowny face here. That's Roddy White and Larry Fitzgerald. I think it's coming to an end for these guys, and they're not even the top options on their own teams anymore. Randall Cobb's going to have a big day. AP, I got the question mark beside because I really don't know. I know Daley's very high on him. Romo, he's probably the money player for Drew Crew. On the other side, you got Aaron Rodgers and Jamal Charles. I mean, that's a tough combination. One thing I think is holding Trailer Park back is Mike Evans. He's on the fence on whether or not he's going to play. He's having some hamstring issues. James Jones, that's another guy I got a question mark because I'm starting him in some places, but I really don't know what to expect from him. And I put the X on Olsen. I'm not a believer. I think the Panthers are going to struggle, and actually I believe Jacksonville will win that game. But in this particular matchup, I'm going to take the Drew Crew. Strong running backs. I think he's a little weaker at the receivers, but he has one of the top receivers in Randall Cobb. And if Mike Evans was 100% and playing, I think I would be probably leaning the other way. But for this one, it's going to be the Drew Crew, minus the 2.
I have the Drew Crew as the highest scoring team this week. Romo kills the Giants. He's had 11 touchdowns in the last 4 games. The 49ers don't have anybody left on defense. North Turner feeds stud running backs. AP's going to get all the touches he needs or wants. Ingram, he could have like one of those 25-yard, 2-touchdown games where you can't do anything between the 20s, but if they get inside the 5, he just scores. Edelman's going to catch a bunch of balls because they're going to throw a lot. Fitzgerald can always score in the red zone. Randall Cobb is the number 1 target for the number 1 quarterback versus a trash defense, and he's blocking Aaron Rodgers on the other team.
I got it. Cobb scoring 14 this week.
Roddy White is in the Falcons and Eagles game, so, I mean, you have to play those dudes. Dan Bailey's always, like, the Cowboys score, so he's going to score. The only thing I wonder is they're playing the Titans defense. I understand the Bucs were terrible last year, but I think they're going to be a lot better on offense. Even without Mike Evans, they still have Vincent Jackson and Doug Martin and Safarian Jenkins, and Jameis Winston is definitely better than Mike Glennon or whoever else they ran out there last year. So they're probably going to score that game, and I don't think the Titans have anything on defense. But I'll still take the Drew Crew to score the most points this week and cover.
All right, moving on to our last matchup of the week. It's going to be a matchup between our defending champion here, the Bears, against Double A. This week I picked Double A to be the top scorer. I think Matt Ryan, Eddie Lacy, that's just going to be too much. I've got the stars beside both of those guys because I believe they're both top players this week. When we do the breakdown at the end of the week, you're going to see these are some of the top guys, in fantasy this week. The Bears, on paper, their team's not an impressive team. Eli, Gore, and Crowell, I just, it's safe with Gore and Eli, but Crowell, he's a big question mark. Antonio Brown, that's the top receiver in fantasy from last year. And Alshon Jeffrey, I don't think he's 100% still. Jarvis Landry, Daley's calling a huge game for him. On the other side, you got Matt Ryan, Eddie Lacy, and Latavius Murray. That's a hell of a 3 with Braden Cooks, a receiver I'm very high on this year. Travis Kelce, a great tight end. And the Packers are up against the Bears. That's a rivalry game, and the Bears, they're just not up to par. I think Packers defense might even get Double A a touchdown this week. It's a big spread at 8. It's the biggest spread of any of our games this week. But I think Double A is going to cover it. It kind of burns me to say that because I was involved in a little bit of I made a comment at the draft when we pulled the lottery that they didn't know what to do with the first pick, but they did, and I think Lacey's going to be the man, so I'm going to pick Double A to roll this week, and I feel like it could be 15 maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to win, but Matt Ryan is going to have, if he's not a top 3 quarterback this week, then, I don't know, the stadium blew up or something because he has an amazing matchup. Shockingly, I was looking over stats today. I could not believe the Bengals were 27th against the running backs last year. I just could not believe it. But the only thing about Latavius Murray is, are the Raiders going to even be able to run the ball, or are they going to get beat down? I have no idea.
We don't know what we're going to get from the Raiders.
Behind Lacy, Hill, and Peterson are my 3 favorite running backs this week. And he's got one of my 3 favorite quarterbacks and one of my 3 favorite running backs. And he's got 2 dudes that are going to command targets. And Kelce commands red zone targets. I don't know about Michael Floyd. I don't know if he's going to play. I didn't look to see who else they had on their bench. But if he plays, the Saints secondary is not good. They lost Junior Gillette. Obviously, he didn't play in the secondary. But they lost their best pass rusher. And Jarius Bird's hurt. And they're running the Packers out there against Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler is terrible against the Packers. He is atrocious. He gives them the ball at will repeatedly. And on the other side, Jarvis Landry is probably my favorite player. And then Antonio Brown, obviously. Antonio Brown's going to he'll probably lead the league in targets this week. He was 2 off the lead last year for the whole year. That's with Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon's not playing. Martavis he's not playing. They're going to throw him the ball a lot. So, he has the potential. Like, if Eli has a big game and Antonio Brown has a big game and Jarvis Landry does what I think he's going to do, The Bears could win, but everything has to line up just perfectly for him to win. And I feel like AA's got a lot more wiggle room with their matchups this week, so I'm going to take them in the points.
To cover the points.
Yeah, that's what I meant. What did I say?
All right, well, we'll see how our picks go, and we appreciate everyone tuning in this week. It's Thursday night and football's back, so we're going to sit back and enjoy some football.